Hey everybody, how's it going? I thought I'd do a mix breakdown of my latest video featuring Josh Middleton's MDL Impulse Response Pack 1. The reaction's been pretty good to this tune, and it's a little bit different from what I usually do. The tones are slightly more modern, say the drums are more modern, and I thought it would be worth breaking it down because honestly I made this song about a month ago and I've kind of forgotten what I used, so it'd be cool to dive in. I imagine it's going to be a lot of the stuff I usually use, but let's see. So let's start with the guitars. We've got the effector silencer as a gate. You know, use that all the time. NA808 as a boost. It's a Tube Screamer copy, works really well. And I'm going into Blades. Now, Blades is a 14 style amp sim from Vitar Amps or Vadim Taranov. It's just absolutely world class. This is my favorite amp sim at the moment. This really can't be beat. I really love Nutcracker from Polychrome DSP. That is incredible. And there's a few other amp sims I really enjoy, but every time I turn this thing on and compare to other sims, this always wins out. And you can see all the controls I've got going on here. It's super gained out, so if you boost it, you're gonna have to turn the gain down quite a bit. It's probably got more gain than like a 5150 sim. This is cool. It's got the PA drive, right? This, it just gives you this nice power amp coloration. Output is output. Bass, middle, treble. Now I've got this like fairly scooped because Blades on its own is very sort of mid-forward attack. But if you know anything about Vadim's plugins, you can have the mids cranked or the mids completely scooped out and they still sound great. They don't sound, you know, wrong. They sound right in sort of any position. That's a testament to his coding, I guess. Treble's near enough at noon. Depth, this thing can get pretty over the top pretty quickly. So I keep it pretty low, and presence pretty low. So pulse, right, this is pulse version 1 because I didn't have pulse version 2 at this point. It hadn't been released yet. And what I've got going on here is cab number 1, top right, 57, number 3. Now, Josh told me his go-to is number 3 in every part of his cab pack. He always goes for number 3. That's his starting point, I guess. And I thought, right, let's see what he's working with. And yeah, he probably is working with the best sounds, to be honest. The 57. I've got to say, at the end of the day, I think the 421 stuff is probably a bit more up my street, but I was going for a mid-forward, modern kind of sound, really. The riffs aren't super contemporary, but something a bit more sort of like mid-late 2000s kind of metal. And the post EQ on this, nothing you haven't seen before, guys. But I've got to say, I wanted a bit more meat on these IRs because you'll hear them, they're quite mid-forward, and I felt they needed a bit more of that kind of like subby, unpredictable low end, so I went to 90 Hertz instead of 100 Hertz. I just thought it sounded a bit thicker, a bit nicer. Carving out some low mids, I just don't like anything around here, I always carve it out. I don't zap the hell out of it, but I do reduce it by a few dB. Same with 4K, there's really nothing here that I like. And yeah, reduce it by a fair bit there, and a low pass to 8K. Now I know a lot of people, you know, low pass a little bit higher than this, at around 10K, maybe 9K, but for my mixes, I like it at 8000 Hertz at 8K. It just sounds right to me. Second guitar is like pretty much the same. Boost and the gate are the same. Blades is near enough the same. I think it's slightly different. Maybe, because I do like different sounds on different sides. So I went with top right speaker 57 number 3, but this is cab number 2, so this is a completely different cab. But I think they are both Mesa cabs. So just to give you a slightly wider sound, if you have a slightly different sound on either side, it gives you a slightly wider feel. I don't like a completely different sound on either side because that can just make it sound a bit lopsided, but you know, if you go with a slightly different tone, it gives you a little bit of width. EQ, near enough the same, as far as I know. And on the bus or the folder, like in Reaper, you can do the folder system where you just like click that button there and you can stick tracks through it, kind of like a master. I've actually got the Son EQ going. This is just a free Pultec style or a vintage style EQ. And I grab this when I don't want too many options for EQing. Graphics are fantastic and great. You can get 99% of the way there on any mix with any kind of graphic EQ. But occasionally I don't really, you know, want to have too many options. So I grab this, usually for its mid-range control. So I just set it sort of the frequency I want. I sort of close my eyes and sweep across, and I ended up at around 700 hertz here. Scooped out a few of the mids, and it got me the tone I wanted, because again, these are mid-forward IRs, and I just wanted to scoop it a bit. And Josh himself is not afraid to scoop and carve and boost and cut the hell out of his tones, and he's a testament to doing that. Like, some guys are just high pass, low pass, couple of EQ moves, and they call it a day. But yeah, Josh really gets in there to get the exact tone he wants. And yeah, I'm with Josh on that. It's the best way to do it. Like, don't be afraid to EQ the hell out of things if you want to, you know. On the bus, further high pass at 90 hertz, because I feel just the individual EQs on the guitars don't quite, well, in Reaper anyway, the re-EQ doesn't quite lob off all the sub lows. So I do a further high pass on the bus, and it keeps things tight. It gets me where I want to be. Anti-sneak trick, if you don't know what this is, it just, on the palm mutes, reduces this frequency by a couple of dB and keeps things tight, and it keeps those blooms from blowing out the master, basically. Then I've got a modest notch at 3.5K, because you do get kind of a, like, resonant kind of frequencies, and you know, they're just there for the whole song, and I hate that, so I just notch those out usually. This can move, it can be quite severe on some mixes. Like if you're quad tracking, or if I'm quad tracking, this will be, you know, I'll zap like up to 5, maybe even like all the way to like 10 dB just to get rid of that noise. But with two guitars, it's fine at about 3. Just let you hear the guitars on their own. Yeah, I'm kind of taming the beast with all that EQ. That's what I do on pretty much every mix. You know, the EQs don't look that much different than what I've got going on there. Okay, bass, you know, people ask about this stuff all the time, and you know, the bass almost never changes mix to mix. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. This is pretty much it. BOD, here are the settings, great Sans Amp copy. I feel I don't need a cab with this, any kind of cab emulation, because it just sounds right the way it is. But it does need some hefty EQ, a lot of scooping going on, just taming the lows and taming the highs. Not like high pass, low pass. I feel that doesn't work for what I'm going for. So I just tame the lows and tame the highs as opposed to lobbing them off. Compression, up to 2 or 3 dBs worth of compression, because BOD just handles everything. You know, it does such a good job of giving me the bass tone I want. Just got to scoop some mids. Then I have a parallel bass track, so it is this bass track copied and pasted below it. I'm gonna run this in parallel. So what I've got going is Mockafix No Amp. This is Windows only. It's a Guitar Sans Amp copy. I use it on everything. Center, high gain, British. There are the settings there. It just works. You know, can't say enough good stuff about it. I've just got the opposite of what's going on the other tracks. So I'm scooping the hell out of the main bass track, and for the distorted track, it's a bit quieter, and I've got mid-range going. Just the mid-range of the bass sound, and it makes it go ga 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 ga, makes it talk. And compression just as a safety net, but it's barely doing anything. Lead guitar, what the heck did I use here? Let's have a look. Yeah, so got the NE808, boosting a little bit more aggressively there. Into Teaser by Vadim Taranov. Again, this is Windows only. Same with Blades, that's Windows only as well. But these are world class. For you Mac guys, I really wish you could play the Vadim Taranov stuff, because it's just so good. And yeah, just one of the best VH4 sounds you can get. And this is free, which is insane. Pulse, cab number 5. This is a completely different cab. I want to say it's a Marshall cab. I really can't remember. I think it is. Top right again, 57, number 3. And yeah, I just went with that, and it sounded really good for the lead guitar. Chorus, this is just like the best chorus plugin ever. It spreads it over the stereo spectrum from the center. I've got a bit of chorusing going on. Yeah, it just works. Lead guitar, I always high pass a lot further up. I really don't want any of that rumbly low end in my lead guitar. It doesn't make any sense being there. Notch at 4K, just like the rhythms. You don't need all that scratchy craziness, especially on the high strings. You know, you get a lot more pick attack when you're going crazy on the high strings. And a further low pass, yeah, just getting rid of all the noisy stuff. You just I just don't need it on my lead guitars. Right, and something I haven't used on any project yet. It's the classic delay from whatever this company is, and this thing just sounds amazing. It's 32-bit. I think it's Windows only. I can't remember, but yeah, man, you get tape, analog, and a digital delay. I've got it on tape here, and it just gives you that kind of slightly broken delay sounds. It's got a ping pong effect, all the controls you need. Yeah, this thing's amazing. Yeah, it's not the best delay ever, but I do like its vibey tape sound. Yeah, really nice. All right, guys, I had a few effects going on, like stuff like this. It's just my explosion track. It's an effects track, really. Chorus, just to widen it. I'm just widening it. There's no actual chorus on it. And then just, yeah, low pass the effects to whatever it was, 10K. You don't really need that there, to be honest. It sounded good without it. But yeah, just stuff like this, like reverse cymbal, and we've got like some crazy effects going on. And there's this thing from Modern Metal Songwriter or Modern Music Solutions. Yeah, I really like those sounds, just to, you know, add a bit more impact to the mix here and there. Add a bit of drama. It's good for a modern mix. And, you know, this is what makes any song sound that 20, 30, even like 50% better. It's the drums. So this is Josh Middleton's Ultimate Heavy Drums. Yeah, I can't say enough good stuff about this. On the more modern stuff, this is my go-to at the moment. I really like the sound of these drums. So preset-wise, it is pretty much, I think, the Modern Metal Kit 2. Like, that's what I used, but I'm tweaking things a bit. I think I just tweaked the snare. So what I got going on, you can see there, the settings there. And I think I went to pitch, let's see. Yeah, the pitch of the snare is down a little bit to make it a little bit thicker. Kick number 2 is down a little bit as well. And the reverb, I'm pretty sure I've got a fair bit of reverb on this snare. Yeah, there you go. It's like that on the preset, to be honest. But yeah, just gives you that, and yeah, really cool sound. So we go to the drum kit. This is what the snare sounds like. Yeah, just great stuff. Yeah, and the kick is just like thunderous. Really like this kit. It's really, really sweet. But I find, yeah, the kick is like pretty full on. So I'm just taming the lows at like 65 Hertz there, just to keep the kit tight. Doesn't make a huge difference. And if we go to the master track, there is absolutely nothing different from what I usually do, guys. If you want a detailed breakdown of my mindset and my approach with the mastering chain, I will link that video below. And this is completely free stuff, guys. And most of this is like the Reaper stock plugins. Nothing different from what I usually do. EQ, this is just for taste. JS Exciter is, you know, it's sort of distorting the high end, making it sound really nice. Rex Comp is just for the low end. It boosts it and controls it. Digital Versatile Compressor, this is just boosting level. I'm not using it as a compressor currently. Event Horizon Limiter Clipper, this thing is magic. It's just the most transparent limiter clipper out there. It's, you know, it's 2 things in one limiter clipper. It just sounds great. It really does. Completely free. The UI is pretty terrible. I mean, look at that. It doesn't give you any feedback either. So you don't really know what's going on. You got to use your ears. And Master Limiter, yeah, I mean, this is just world-class stuff. I mean, like, Reaper makes such good sounding plugins. The problem is they don't look very nice. But if you can, you know, see past that, you know, you'll be all right. Right, this is Mojo by Air Windows. And yeah, this is just a fantastic... I basically use it as like a maximizer on the end of my mix. This is just a magic plugin. If you don't know about this thing, it's amazing. It's completely free. It's a direct download from Air Windows site. I could rave about this thing all day. Amazing. And then Restream's just going into OBS. So let's just hear the mix, guys. It's on my last video, but like, let's just have a little listen. So that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I wanted to do this because I get asked every so often about how my mixes are, and I direct people to like previous mix videos and things like that. But this one was a little bit different, so I wanted to break it down. I'll leave some links below, guys. Enjoy. Hey, since you're still here, why not check out my music? I've got the crazy brutal stuff like Nest of Scum and Habitual Slaughter over on Bandcamp, and my latest release, By the Horns, is now available on all streaming platforms. If you want something more melodic, check out my Resinton albums, available on all streaming platforms also. And if you just like the instrumental demos from here on the channel, I have the Demo Collection series, exclusively on Bandcamp. So what are you waiting for? Check it all out. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And subscribe if you want to see more metal related stuff. I'll be back sometime with a video on something else. So until then, ciao.